Okay, well, I decided to go ahead and do it. So I'm going to do this stuff about Deuteronomy now. And I looked this up. I wondered, what does this word mean? Deuteronomy kind of means, it's a Greek word, and it kind of means, you have to think of the word ditto, like it's a repeating, something like that. And that's what happens in here. Pretty much everything gets repeated that happened and was already discussed. So, like things about the law, things about the feasts. I mean, the feasts come up in Exodus, they come up in Leviticus, they come up in Numbers, and they come up in Deuteronomy. So, and each time there's almost a little more detail, a little more evolved, it's more added to it. So that's what happens here. And this one is purely review. It's going over, it's repeating everything already again in a certain way. So all of it has 34 chapters, so all 1 through 34 basically are a review. So I, of course, went through and picked out certain things to talk about. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do is, it's going to be 2 videos, okay? And again, a lot of it's a review of laws. It has certain cultural rules and local laws for their land and what was good at the time. Blessings and curses come up, and then in the end, Moses dies, okay? So that's right before they enter into the land, the promised land. So, okay, so anyway, the previous command, so it's all of that is repeated. It's just that. So now let me see. I'm going to combine this into one video. There's a separate part I'm going to separate as a separate video. So I'll come back to that. But you'll kind of see the theme here for this one. So chapter 4, and it's verse 29. Okay, but from there you will seek the Lord your God, and you will find him if you seek him with all your heart and with all your soul. So this was if they, after they repent, that kind of thing. And so then, like, this is still possible, okay? All right, now 35. Okay, to you it was shown that you might know that the Lord himself is God. There is none other besides him. So this is just about the fact that only God is God, okay? Not nature, not people, not their dogs, okay? Nothing else. Not the universe, not anything in creation. Is only God is God. He created it, so he's God, and it's not God. Okay, and then 39, therefore, know this day and consider it in your heart that the Lord himself is God in heaven above and on the earth below. There is no other. Okay, so just in case somebody missed the earlier one, we have it again, but it comes up all the time. Okay, then we have 6, verse 5 to begin with down here. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. So this comes up a lot too. Okay, now we have 10 or 12. Okay, here. So it shall be when the Lord your God brings you into the land of which he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give you large and beautiful cities which you did not build, houses full of all good things which you did not fill, hewn out of wells which you did not dig, vineyards and olive trees which you did not plant. So they get houses they didn't build, right? Cities they didn't build. It's all the infrastructure is there. The produce is growing. Vineyards, it's already growing. Farms are already growing. Everything's already there and ready to go. See, okay, so they got all this. When you have eaten and are full, then beware lest you forget the Lord who brought you out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. Okay, so I just wanted to go over that part because this is such a typical danger. Is I've seen it, with Christians when they become Christians and then they're serious and everything's going well and God blesses them and maybe they advance in their career and then, they get a bigger house and more possessions and little by little that becomes the focus and they get full, and they get well satisfied and they forget about God. And then they start to fall downhill and it all goes bad again. So there's a very serious warning there because there's a serious danger there. So I wanted to go over that. Okay, 7. Here, 25 to 26 has this. And I mentioned this several times. You shall burn the carved images of their gods with fire. You shall not covet the silver or gold that is on them, nor take it for yourselves, lest you be snared by it, for it is an abomination to the Lord your God. So the stuff is cursed, spiritually it's defiled, right? Nor shall you bring an abomination into your house, lest you be doomed to destruction like it. You shall utterly detest it and utterly abhor it, for it is an accursed thing. Okay, it's cursed. So, you're to take nothing from false religion. Okay, no practices, no articles, no nothing. Okay, now, 14. We have 28 to 29. All right. At the end of every 3rd year, you shall bring out of the tithe of your produce of that year and store it up within your gates. And the Levite, because he has no portion nor inheritance with you, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow who are within your gates, may come and eat and be satisfied, that the Lord your God may bless you in all the work of your hand which you do. So we see several things here. The tithe they gave, it was for the Levite. He had no inheritance otherwise. So, that's why. And it was for the poor. Strangers, orphans, widows, they were supposed to benefit from this tithe. It was supposed to be to feed them, okay? They would eat and be satisfied, all right? That's what it was for. It wasn't to fatten the belly of a wolf like we see today, okay? And if people did this correctly, then the Lord would bless them. That's where the blessing comes from. It's not from making the rich wolf even richer. It's definitely not by doing that, but by helping the poor that the blessing comes from God. That's when his storehouse is opened and it all comes pouring out. That's when, and not in the other way, okay? So it's all clear right here, and I just want to say they twist these things, so I want you to be aware of what it actually says and what it actually does not say. See, he'll bless them, and in all the work of their hand which they do, they'll be blessed. So that's another way the increase comes to them, see? So that's how it works. Okay, now 15. It is 7 to 11. It's more about this kind of thing. If there is among you a poor man of your brethren within any of the gates in your land which the Lord your God is giving you, you shall not harden your heart, nor shut your hand from your poor brother, but you shall open your hand wide to him and willingly lend him sufficient for his need, whatever he needs. Beware lest there be a wicked thought in your heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of release, is at hand, and your eye be evil against your poor brother, and you give him nothing, and he cry out to the Lord against you, and it becomes sin among you. This was their rule, so you had to work around this in the right way, not the wrong way. You shall surely give to him, and your heart should not be grieved when you give to him. So that's a cheerful giver, okay? That's what it means. Not making a rich wolf richer, okay? Okay. Because for this thing the Lord your God will bless you in all your works and in all to which you put your hand, okay? See, for the poor will never cease from the land. Therefore I command you, saying, you shall open your hand wide to your brother, to your poor, and your needy in your land. Okay, that's how the flow was supposed to go. All right. Okay, so now we have, these in 18. It's all random here. This is another topic. 18, we have 9 to 14. Okay, so this is stuff about the occult, and I kind of read some of this a bit ago, but here we go. It's a good time of year to review this. When you come into the land which the Lord your God is giving you, you shall not learn to follow the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone who makes his son or his daughter pass through the fire. That's, the sacrifice they did to Moloch or Baal. Okay, so, or one who practices witchcraft, or a soothsayer, or one who interprets omens, or a sorcerer. It's all the occult, okay? Or one who conjures spells, or a medium, or a spiritist, or one who calls up the dead. Okay, for all who do these things are an abomination to the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord your God drives them out from before you. So I read it in that context. You shall be blameless before the Lord your God, for these nations which you will dispossess listened to soothsayers and diviners. But as for you, the Lord your God has not appointed such for you. So this is all a warning against the occult, okay? That's the focus this time. Okay, now 15 to 19 and 20, 22 is, okay, we'll see. So this is another messianic prophecy of Jesus here. So 15, the Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me. This is Moses talking. From your midst, from your brethren, him you shall hear, according to all you desired of the Lord your God in Horeb in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of the Lord my God, nor let me see this great fire any more, lest I die. And the Lord said to me, what they have spoken is good. I will raise up for them a prophet like you from among their brethren, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I command him. And it shall be that whoever will not hear my words, which he speaks in my name, I will require it of him. Okay, so we have that. And I mean, there was nobody else who came along, okay? It was definitely Jesus. So that's another messianic prophecy of Jesus here, the prophet that was raised up later, to speak the word of God. Okay, now this I separated because it's a separate topic, 20 through 22. We have this, but speaking of prophets in general, but But the prophet who presumes to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or who speaks in the name of other gods, that prophet shall die. And if you say in your heart, how shall we know the word which the Lord has not spoken? Like, how do we know he's telling the truth or not, right? When a prophet speaks in the name of the Lord, if the thing does not happen or come to pass, that is the thing which the Lord has not spoken. The prophet has spoken it presumptuously. You shall not be afraid of him. Like, don't listen to him. Okay, well, we see that today, and they want to shrug all this under the table. But, I mean, if somebody claims to be a prophet and claims a certain thing is going to happen and it doesn't happen, then that's the test that they're a false prophet. And even if it happens, you can't be sure because it could have been like coincidence, but that depends. You could at least be true, but if it's this way, it's false for sure. And you had all these people setting the rapture date, and they were all wrong. So that's what it means. That's what they are. Okay, so you should not be listening to these people. And there are many examples of this kind of false prophecy thing that didn't happen, or it happened in a different time or whatever. That's false, okay? And then they want to come with all this leeway. Oh, well, it's another calendar, or it's this thing. That's what was meant, and I just misunderstood. Nope, it doesn't work that way. So anyway, I mean, people are either going to listen or not, but it has to be said. Okay, so there's that. Now in 22, we have verse 5. A woman shall not wear anything that pertains to a man, nor shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all who do so are an abomination to the Lord your God. Okay, so, I mean, it used to be women wore skirts and dresses, and, men wore pants, and that was it. But it went way beyond getting away from that already, didn't it? Okay, now we have 24, but that's in there, 24:7. Okay, this is against kidnapping. If a man is found kidnapping any of his brethren of the children of Israel and mistreats him or sells him, then that kidnapper shall die, and you shall put away the evil from among you. So this is the kind of slavery that was, at a certain time going on, and that's what I mean. Like, this was totally forbidden. Just this verse alone. Okay, so there were different levels of things. Okay, that was definitely forbidden. Okay, all right. So just to make that clear. Okay, now 19 to 22. That again. When you reap your harvest in your field and forget a sheaf in the field, you shall not go back to get it. It shall be for the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, that the Lord your God may bless you in all the work of your hands. When you beat your olive trees, you shall not go over the boughs again. It shall be for the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow. When you gather the grapes of your vineyard, you shall not glean it afterward. It shall be for the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow. And you shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt. Therefore, I command you to do this thing. So, again, looking after the poor is the focus there. Okay, now we have 2 more, and then I'll make the next video. So this is going to be a bunch of shorter ones today. Okay, let me see what this was first. I should do this one first because it goes with that, and then I'll do the last one because it takes a little bit more. Okay, this is 26, and it's hard for me to see everything from this angle because I'm looking around the phone. See, okay, 12. When you have finished laying aside all the tithe of your increase in the third year, the year of tithing, and have given once a year, once every 3 years, they did this tithing, okay? And it was produce. And it went to the stranger, the fatherless, the widow, the Levite, okay? Okay, so the year of tithing, and have given it to the Levite, the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, so that they may eat within your gates and be filled. Then you shall say before the Lord your God, I have removed the holy tithe from my house, and also have given them to the Levite. It's like, say it with me now. The stranger, the fatherless, and the widow. That's an orphan up here. According to all your commandments which you have commanded me, I have not transgressed your commandments, nor have I forgotten them. Okay, so this was very important to God, okay, caring for the orphans, in that case, widows, these were the poor. All right. Okay, so I can't emphasize it enough, but that's that. Now, the last item is 25, and it's 5 to 10. And this is what I kept talking about, and it comes up a lot. So I wanted to read this so when I go over it, this reference will come to mind. All right. We don't worry about this today, like I said, but it's interesting to know what they did, okay? So here we go. If brothers dwell together and one of them dies and has no son, the widow of the dead man shall not be married to a stranger outside the family. Her husband's brother shall go in to her, take her as his wife, and perform the duty of a husband's brother to her. And it shall be that the firstborn son which she bears will succeed to that name of his dead brother, that his name may not be blotted out of Israel. But if the man does not want to take his brother's wife, then let his brother's wife go up to the gate to the elders and say, my husband's brother refuses to raise up a name to his brother in Israel. He will not perform the duty of my husband's brother. Then the elders of his city shall call him and speak to him. But if he stands firm and says, I do not want to take her, then his brother's wife shall come to him in the presence of the elders, remove his sandal from his foot, spit in his face, and answer and say, so shall it be done to the man who will not build up his brother's house. And his name shall be called in Israel the house of him who had his sandal removed. So, okay, that's the deal. But it's interesting, too, because this comes up in the book of Ruth, and there are a lot of other things that tie in with the book of Ruth and what's coming up in Joshua in a little bit. So it's good to know as reference, and you'll see why, because I'll refer back to this, and people who were listening on the video will be like, oh yeah, I remember that. Everybody else is going to be like, huh? Say what? What you talking about? A sandal removed? What's going on with that? So anyway, okay, here it is. You've seen it. Okay, so yeah, so that's it for Deuteronomy, and that's it. Now the next one, let me see, 24. Yeah, okay, I'll do the next video for the last thing. I'll be right back for that.